Alrighty YouTube, how you guys doing? Welcome to Ask iGlaswegian episode 2, and the reason why I'm bouncing is because I am sitting on this cool little ball, and yes, this is indeed my chair for my desk, and I've been using this for the past year. Best seat ever. Got a lot of good feedback from you guys on this series. You guys seem to be liking it. How long do you want me to make this episode? Like the first episode was like 20 minutes long, and I'm not a fan of long videos because I know you guys really don't want to tune into long videos. But let me know in the comments below, how long should an Ask IG episode be? And do you want me to put it up on iTunes or not, or just keep it on YouTube? I prefer just keeping it on YouTube, to be honest, and get it out there boom and bam. But let me know how long an episode should last. So let's get started. Start off with YouTube, seeing as you guys like putting comments on YouTube and asking me on YouTube. Remember, you can ask on Twitter as well. Use the hashtag AskIG. First question from Funboy1231. What would you suggest the best inexpensive standing microphone for commentaries over games? I would recommend the Snowball. You can get it for about $50–60-ish, I believe. If you can't get it brand new, don't matter, you know, get it second hand. I've got plenty of second hand stuff myself. Just make sure it's off eBay, check the condition, you know, make sure it's not got any kind of bumps, damages, or damaged stuff, you know. Just second hand stuff's actually quite good. You save a lot of money. Or you may be able to pick up a refurbished one from Blue. Check their website out. But I would recommend the Blue microphones personally. RoboSam4 asks, is the MacBook Air tough enough if you travel and you drop it? Is it going to get damaged? Most probably, yeah. I mean, it depends where you drop it. If you drop it on a carpet, you might get the bump. If even you'll get that. But if you drop it on like marble or some sort of hard concrete on the road, yeah, you'll probably bump it really bad, damage it. Because it's so thin and delicate, you are bound to kind of damage it. But you could get a spec hard shell case, but then again, that kind of there's no point in owning a MacBook Air. I mean, personally for me, the reason why I own a MacBook Air is because it's light. If you're going to put a hard shell case on it, which adds weight to the machine, then you sir, why on earth have you got a MacBook Air? This next question is really interesting. Thanks, really like your videos, appreciate it, thanks very much. Have I ever been to Macworld Convention or WWDC? I would love to go to Macworld Expo. I've never been to the States for that matter. I would love to go. Never been to WWDC, that's a dream. Can you recommend a Mac Users Expo in UK? There is none. Full stop. There is no kind of Mac meetups, or you get the odd meetup here or there, but there's no kind of, you know, definite meetup or exhibition or expo where, you know, you have like third-party manufacturers coming together for Mac, everything iOS. So that's a shame. That said, there is a really cool convention coming this year to London. I'll leave a link in the description and on screen. Migrate Fest, and it's basically getting all the iOS users together. In essence, getting all the Mac heads together and talking about topics. They're going to have seminars, workshops. You'll have really cool kind of people that you've seen on YouTube and so on. It'd be nice, and they're selling it pretty fast. If you haven't got your tickets, links on the screen, and go ahead. Very well publicised. It's been on pretty much all the rumour sites, so they have got the last few remaining tickets, and it's in September of this year, and you might just be able to see me there as well. So this next question is quite interesting. I'm telling you what, I get a lot of these questions, and they're kind of along the same lines. I was going to get a 2011 MacBook Pro 13-inch baseline, but for several reasons I didn't, so should I pick one up now? That decision is entirely up to what you want to do. That is correct, you. The emphasis is on you. If you're a hardcore user and you need the speed, the power, your business requires it, go for it. If you're in college, you're a student, you're just doing the odd essay, is that power really going to make much difference? You know, it also depends on your budget, how fast you kind of, you know, buy stuff. I personally try to get a new Mac every year, or some may argue every time a new Mac refreshes around the corner. But because I kind of recycle my stuff, as I said in my last video, you know, I try to get the most value out of my machine. But not everyone's like that, you know. People keep their machines for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. There's nothing wrong with that. It just depends as to how, you know, if you want to adapt to new technology. Thunderbolt's been out as an example. It's been out since February. People went out and got it, but there's no Thunderbolt device on the market, so it's wise for people to hold back, you know, just for the sake of getting a Thunderbolt port. Are you really going to be using that even when Thunderbolt devices come out? Are you really going to be buying Thunderbolt devices? So it's kind of wise to sometimes just sit back on the fence and wait and see how well other people find it, and then once prices start to drop, hit the the mass market, then go out and get it. I think personally, if you are in the market for a MacBook Pro, you should hold back. Next year we'll see a completely new redesigned MacBook Pro, something along with the MacBook Air. I'm not saying it's going to be exactly the same, a lighter, probably a new cases around, externally. There were reports that, well, there's always reports and they never turn out to be true, but maybe even a different material, liquid metal, that would be nice. No super drive, so it depends as to what you want to do, and I can't really answer that question. Do I prefer to read a physical book or an ebook? I can't remember the last time I read a book, but in terms of newspapers, I read them on the toilet if that helps, and no, I don't carry a £400 device into a toilet. Just use the good old paper traditional methods. But generally, if I'm going to be sitting on the couch and there's a paper lying right next to me, I would grab the iPad, and the reason for that is because it's kind of up to date. Open up the news application and you've got videos. They say a picture makes 1,000 words. Well, a video is 1,000 times even better. Does that make sense? I think it does. So this next question is quite interesting. 15-year-old guy, he wants to work with computers when he's older. He's in high school and editing really isn't his game. But that's because he's not been taught how to use editing software and he just wanted some suggestions. But I'll tell you what, I only started using video applications such as iMovie, ScreenFlow when I came on the Mac. When I was on Windows machines, I couldn't, use a camcorder to save my life. I couldn't, use Windows Movie Maker. I tried it, but it didn't work. The software on the Windows side in terms of video software is horrible. I haven't tried it the premium ones, but because the basic ones scared me, I thought forget buying Sony Vegas or Adobe Premium or whatever software it is. Because the basic ones were so crap, I just never bothered. It wasn't my cup of tea. But when I came onto the Mac, iMovie was amazing. You'll be surprised as to what you can do with iMovie. It's so powerful. Same with ScreenFlow. It's just kind of getting into that routine, getting used to it. Practice makes perfection. That is something that I've always thought, and the more you kind of play about with it, you'll discover new things. And iMovie, as much as I've used it, I can still go back and say, oh wow, I never knew how to do that. So it's a kind of a constant learning process, and when you get a Mac, once you try out iMovie, you'll be surprised as to how powerful the actual thing is. I'm not too sure if I answered your question, but I presume you don't have a Mac, or you have a Mac but you haven't tried out iMovie. In that case, just get raw footage, see what you can do with it, put family stuff together, and really just ask family and friends to kind of see how your project has turned out. That would be my advice. This question is, how am I finding my 550D after using it for a while? I got my 550D camcorder, which I happen to be recording from right now, from December 2010, just before Christmas, and I must say, the only regret that I have is not getting it earlier. It is quite the beast, and yes, MSN Messenger is indeed going off while I'm doing this commentary. But the DSLR, it's a shame I never got it before. It's so powerful in terms of pictures. It's great when it comes to video. It really brings that out. So if you are going for a camcorder, do consider getting a DSLR. You kind of get best of both worlds when it comes to picture and video. And some of the kind of same priced camcorders, you can't attach a microphone. I happen to have attached this Rode mic, which you can't see, and I made an unboxing not too long ago. So it's quite advanced. I'm still playing around with it and kind of just bumping back onto the previous question. I'm still learning. It's a learning process. If you check some of my early videos out, I was absolutely horrible, but new technology, I'm using something new, try to see how it works, and it's going pretty well. Next question, would you rather unbox a gaming system or unbox and use a brand new Mac? This is a Mac channel. I love my Macs, and yeah, I'd probably unbox a Mac any day of the week. Thanks very much. Although that said, I am in the process of wanting to get a PS3. I just need to get a PS3 fund up and going and put some money aside for it. But I do play the Xbox, as you can see on screen, and I do have a gaming channel. I do love my gaming on the 360. I'm not saying I hate the PS3 or anything. It's just I've never really thought about or been that keen on getting two games consoles. I mean, even the Xbox is a bit hard to kind of keep up with, so the only reason I'll be getting a PS3 is to play with you guys on YouTube. So yeah, it is on my hit list per se. Creamy Whip asks, do I have a good music collection? I don't really have a collection per se. Everything that I have, it's on iTunes or by other means. But yeah, in terms of what my taste is, R&B, dance, trance, pop, it's kind of a mixture of things. I'm not just keen on one thing, you know. I like a bit of R&B, a bit of hip hop, a bit of dance, trance, best of all worlds, and it just kind of pumps it up. What printer do I have? I've got the Canon MP560. Do I like the Magic Mouse or Magic Trackpad? I'm personally a fan of the Magic Mouse, and as you can see from my desk, that is indeed a Magic Mouse, because I guess because I've been using it for so long, the mouse aspect, and this kind of gives you the best of both worlds when it comes to trackpad plus mouse, because you've got the gestures. Although limited by Apple's software, it still works pretty nicely, and you can get software that you can enable all kinds of gestures and so on, but I like the Magic Mouse personally. Next question, have I got a Google Plus account? Yes, I have got one, but I'm not using it because I personally find there's too many social networks. You know, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and all the rest. It's just, there's a certain limit, in my opinion, that you can, you know, you don't really want people jumping the gun. There's nothing extraordinary that is good about Google Plus. It's kind of on par with Facebook, and why should I be joining Facebook? I've got one just for the sake of being there, you know. So if you do want to join me, it's on the screen. Just kind of add me on that, and that would be pretty cool. I can't seem to send invites. I got an invite from someone else, but apparently if you've got an account, you can't just send out random invites like I've done in the past. But good luck. Do I need to back up my files before installing Line? I installed Line, the Gold Master, onto this MacBook Air. It had Snow Leopard on it, and it was just a simple case of double clicking on the installer, and it just kind of upgraded it to Line. All my user settings, my files on my desktop and my hard drive, and everything was still the same. All that happened was just a new operating system came on. If you do a clean install, of course, you'll need to install Snow Leopard first, and then, you know, install Line. And I hope in that case you've got your files backed up before you do a clean install. Assassin asks, do I prefer a MacBook Pro or an iMac for video editing? I did have a MacBook Pro. Both are equal, to be honest. I like the MacBook Pro in a sense that it kind of gives you best of both worlds, and I'm not too sure how many times I've said best of both worlds so far in this video. But because you can attach your MacBook Pro to a screen, have dual setups, but you're like, hey, you can do that with an iMac as well, but you can be more portable with the MacBook Pro, and it gives you that power on the go. So both are identical, depends on how, you know, your situation, if you're going to be mobile or not. Do I like pancakes? I'd rather chew on dog poo. Is Windows Phone 7 better than an iPhone? I've never used a Windows 7 phone for more than 5 minutes, but I guess sales figures and the popularity here on YouTube, and, you know, generally people have yet to see someone that's holding a Windows Phone 7 and being proud of it. I haven't seen it personally, so I hope that kind of says it all. John for Lakers was a Mac only channel a while back, like 3 years ago. He now does all tech. Are you going to expand into other products? No, I want to stick to Apple, everything Apple. That is what my channel is about, and that's what what I do. That's what I like doing. I like concentrating on one aspect, you know. I say one aspect, but it's like one area. So you've got iOS, you've got Mac, you've got reviews, but they're all kind of got the same everything Apple-ish. I feel if I expand out too much, then that's going to mean flooding your kind of inbox with stuff that I may not like. For example, some of the Android phones and so on. I'm not saying Android's a bad platform, but some of the phones are kind of poor. They've got poor reviews. Mind you, HTC looks, you know, quite nice, but I don't feel I'd be able to cope with you know, doing videos or reviews, 2 or 3 videos every day, especially with my new project on the way. So I like everything Apple, keeping it simple, and I hope that's what you guys like. Let me know if you want me to move into other spaces, but personally, I don't think I'd be able to cope, and I just like focusing on everything Apple. Is the new Copilot better than the TomTom? If you don't know, I've made a video on Copilot. It's been updated, a whole new look, fresh look, and it is definitely something to consider. It's yet to come out in the iPhone. It's available on Android. It will be out in the App Store for Apple iPhone pretty soon. I got kind of a beta / Gold Master release to test out. Love it. The best kind of navigation software, and I'm not just saying that because they gave it to me for free. Even now that I've got it, I've only got it for 20 days. After 20 days it expires, meaning it will just kind of vanish out of my iPhone. But it's the best navigation software that I've seen. Some of the features on it are pretty sweet. UI is definitely improved. Miles better than the one they had before, so it's something to consider. 3 things. Where did I get the Apple mug? And I presume you are talking about, where is it? Okay, it's not here. That's a bit of a fail. But the Apple mug that I've had in some of my videos, it came from the Apple Cupertino HQ store. You can only get it from that store because it's kind of the mothership. That's where the Apple HQ is, and they've got a merchandise store. And you can get other stuff, t-shirts, a hoodie. I've got them in my cupboard actually. But that's where I got it from. I wish I'd personally walked into the store, but I had someone visiting Cupertino and they picked it up for me, which I'm quite grateful for. When is the next iMac refresh? I wish Steve Jobs just phoned me and told me, you know, it's coming up next week. That isn't the case. My estimate is it's going to be next year. I think come September we'll have the iPod Touches and the iPhones, and end of the year possibly some Mac related, like the Mac Minis. Might be a tiny bump to the iMacs, but nothing major in terms of a refresh per se. And lastly, the same guy asks, when is the Jailbreak Me coming out? I have no idea about jailbreaks, so you are asking the wrong person. How much money do I earn? About £600 to £700 an hour. Pretty good, I would say. Will I be getting Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3? For sure, I'll be picking up both because both games look really cool in their own respect. I've seen trailers for both of them. I kind of took part or followed the coverage more or less at E3, and I like what I'm seeing. Do I need to upgrade from a MacBook first generation and I'm perfectly happy with it and what I do? That partly doesn't kind of make sense, but I presume you're saying you've got a MacBook, you're happy with it, should you upgrade? If you're happy with it, then why, you know, upgrade? What is the need for you upgrading? Is the need because there's a new Mac out in the market and you're like, yes, I want it? If you've got money, you know, go for it. But if you're happy with something, you know, why, you know. For me, if I was getting a Mac, it would only be because I want the speed. So when the new MacBook Airs come out, I'll be getting it purely for the speed, so that I can kind of render videos faster. I won't just be getting it, oh there's a new Mac out or there's a new MacBook Air out. I would be getting it for the hardware that I need. Had I have not been doing videos, I probably wouldn't have cared. You know, the current speed's fine for an average user. Thunderbolt, the average user doesn't need it in my opinion at the moment, especially when there's no devices out for it. So the current one, the current MacBook Air, if you can get a decent price in the refurbs, go for it. But even then I would kind of hold off and see what Apple pull for the next generation MacBook Airs. If it's worth getting or not, that's entirely up to your needs. Have I gotten the red ring of death ever? Nope, I'm kind of glad I've never gotten it. Do I really have Iron Brew with my breakfast? Nope, that was for that video and the worst thing I've ever done. What's my favourite Call of Duty game in general? Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops. That's pretty much all the Call of Duty series, but I like all of them. I'm not going to say I hate one in particular. I kind of go in between the three, and I like that. I think that's, you know, each one's good in their own respect. Call of Duty 4, you've got a lot of snipers. Modern Warfare 2, you've got a lot of people with grenades. And Black Ops, it's just really hard to actually get a kill. But nevertheless, they're all still enjoyable. It's, you know, it's fun, and that's why I continue to play them. How big is the man sausage? No homo. Big enough to cause a few accidents. Next question is from Tango Dale. How are you intending on selling this big shipment all from a website? I assume you're referring to igear.com, which is my new project. Yes, you're correct. I'm going to be selling the full lot from igear.com, the website. That is going to be the main sales platform. So if you aren't already clued up as to what I'm talking about, visit igear.com and do register your interest and follow me on Facebook and Twitter and the YouTube channel that I've set up for iGear. And let me tell you this. This is an amazing product and you guys are absolutely going to love it. So stay tuned, it's going to be pretty soon, and when I mean pretty soon, pretty damn soon. Why are Apple products so overpriced? Some are overpriced, I've said this in the past. The Airport Extremes, the time capsules, the new ones that have just been released, absolutely ridiculous what they've priced them at. So it's generally much more expensive here in the UK with the VAT and so on. It's quite decent actually in the US when compared with UK prices. It's cheap in Hong Kong. But yeah, some prices are definitely, for a cable, for an adapter, £25. what is it, the new Thunderbolt cable or adapter, £30, that's kind of ridiculous to be honest. Best person is to have Steve Jobs, and they're still shifting loads of them, that's why they've got them priced at that, you know, that markup. So they're doing pretty well whether we like it or not. Next question is, would you recommend a Mac for a basic user who doesn't use video editing and other specialist programs? Definitely. Go for the Mac, it's the best thing. ScreenFlow you can pick up for less than 100. iMovie you can pick up in the App Store for about £5 or so, I can't even remember what the price is, but it's relatively cheap. And the important thing is they're very user friendly, so it's not going to be things you're going to be like, you know, banging your head against the wall. Very basic, but very effective at the same time. If you go back to some of my videos, most of my videos in fact are made through iMovie, and you know, I would think I've done a reasonable job on it. Hey, can you please buy 2 more monitors to your iMac? Are you sir offering to send me 2 monitors? I wouldn't mind 2 Dells, so you know, thanks for that. I'll give you my shipping address in an email. That would be very nice of you, and preferably if they're 23" or higher, 1080p HD, yeah, tilting both ways, that would be nice, height adjustable, Visa mounts, that would be icing on the cake. So thanks very much for that. I will send you a message. What's my favourite feature in Final Cut Pro X? It has to be when you import a video into Final Cut Pro, and then you don't have to wait for it to kind of, you know, render. You can just start editing right there and then. You don't have to wait for the bar to go, and because of the Architect, the 64-bit, it just makes things so much faster. The next thing would definitely have to be the effects and just the kind of advanced stuff you can do in it. Next question is, where did I get my case from a MacBook Air? It's a Chromatics. I've made a video on it, it is on the screen should you wish to check it out. It looks quite sleek, I may add. Bottom, sides, boom, and then you've got the inside as well, this area here. I love it, I think it's quite good. As you know, it does add that cool effect or classy effect. And it's the black MacBook Air. Looks blackish, doesn't it? But the texture on this is pretty cool, I like the feel of it. Have I ever been stalked on Argyle or Buchanan Street? Both of these streets are quite famous in Glasgow, where I stay. Nope, safe to say I've never been stalked, although I've been stalked in Apple stores, if that helps. I wonder why. And last but not least, this is quite a good question, I liked reading this one. If I was left on an island and I only had one Apple product, which would it be? Internet and phone lines are already there. I would choose the MacBook Air plus a USB Ethernet adapter, unless the island is Wi-Fi enabled. But you know, I like the MacBook Air, I've said in the past. The iPad wouldn't be too great on an island, not for too long. You could only do so much things and I would eventually get tired. And I presume there's going to be sand and stuff, so touching the screen would get it very messy. I am thinking of this too much. But the MacBook Air would give me the kind of full experience, and because it's pretty light, whoops, fail there, I will be taking this part out, don't worry. So now moving on to Twitter questions. What made me change from PC to Mac? I was kind of in town, the Site Centre, back in 2006 or 7, or yeah, I think it was 2007. I was walking along to university and I seen a queue outside a store. I was like, hang on, what is going on? What the F is going on? I looked across and it was an Apple store. I was like, are people seriously queuing outside for a music/computer store? And you know, I had experiences with Macs in the good old school days, and I hated them with a passion. So I was wondering, you know, why the hype for a computer that I didn't like, no one in my class liked. So why are people queuing outside for it? I thought, okay, maybe it's a new iPod that's being launched, or maybe people are just queuing outside for an iPod. But I found out that it was a new store that was been opening. I was like, okay, that's a bit weird. 3 or 4 days later, now that the queues have kind of gone, I thought, okay, I'd pay my visits to the Apple store and see what the fuss is all about. Walked in and seen the Macs, used them. I was like, wow, this is quite cool. That was Leopard at that time, and I thought it was just fantastic. And I was in the kind of market for a PC and a new computer. I had a Dell, wasn't too happy with the support, and okay, I thought, well, why not give a Mac a try? and then eventually I bought my Mac, and I haven't looked back since. And as you can tell from this video, 2 Macs sitting right here. What COD game would I recommend for someone starting it on the Xbox? COD 4, Modern Warfare 2 you can also pick up on eBay, and even brand new you can pick up for about 15, and Black Ops 20, 25ish. All are great games. I can't really say one is better than the other, but I think for someone new, give Modern Warfare 2 a try. You would find, you know, you get the kills, and then slowly then you can move it to, you know, go back to Call of Duty 4, and then, you know, if you want to go in and get Black Ops, then do so. But I would start off on at least Modern Warfare 2. I find that kind of a bit more easier to get kills. And for some, have I ever eaten a fried Mars bar? Partially. Worst thing ever. You get Mars bars or chocolates, and they basically put them into fryers at your local chip shop. It is quite gross. I don't even want to talk about it. And the last question from Twitter is, do you have to back up your hard drive when upgrading to line? Nope, I didn't upgrade the hard drive from here. I just done a simple installation, i.e. double-clicked installer. It upgrades it, all your files are there, boom, you're ready to go. But guys, that's it for Ask iGlaswegian episode 2. I hope it was quite useful and good, and you enjoyed it. Leave your questions in the comment section below. Alternatively, you can ask me on Twitter. Use the hashtag AskIG. As always, I will see you guys in another life. Cheers. Looking to send a package at the lowest price possible? Simple. Visit parcelmonkey.co.uk, follow these 4 simple steps, have the package collected from your doorstep, and then sit back and relax.